Afternoon, America. Brian J. Blem here. I want to welcome you back to another episode of What the Fuck's Up. In one of my last videos, I talked to you about this separation of powers between a federal government and state governments and local governments, and in particular with reference to Article 1, Section 8, which is where the federal government derives its powers. Those things it's allowed to do. And then the 10th Amendment, which reserves all other powers, of course, to the states. I'm going to sort of switch gears real quick and talk a little bit about Article 2 powers. Article 2 governs the President of the United States and the executive branch of government. Actually, it's Article 1 that creates the legislative, and Article 3 that creates the judicial. But I want to talk about Article 2, particularly Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, because this whole pardon issue that has begun to emerge in United States dialogue as people finally are re-engaged with this civic connection in trying to understand what powers their government actually has and what the implications of the exercise of that power truly is. And so this pardon power, the Constitution says the president shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States. And that pardon power is exclusive to the President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris, the Vice President, does not possess that power. The executive branch of government, the bureaucracy, right? This typically referred to as the deep state, does not have the power to issue pardons. They are exclusively enjoined in the hands of the President of the United States of America. And that becomes a huge and significant issue as we look at just who really is Joe Biden. I've been saying for a long time, and so have a lot of other people, that when Joe Biden was first selected President of the United States of America back in 2020, that he had significant issues of mental decline. Significant issues of mental decline. He was undergoing this process of dementia. And that could not be any clearer today, as even the media is having a very hard time covering up Joe Biden's deteriorated, I'm not going to say deteriorating because it's been deteriorating for a long time. It's been deteriorated for a very long time. And how does that implicate the power of the pardon? There are two reasons I want to talk to you about this Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 power of issuing pardons. One is because the President of the United States of America, as I read to you, can only issue pardons for violations against the United States of America, the federal government. The President of the United States cannot issue a pardon to somebody for violating state or local law. It must be an offense against the United States as an entity, as a nation, right? As a government, and not against the states that comprise the states and have their own powers with respect to the 10th Amendment. So that's something that people will be able to go after Hunter Biden after Donald Trump takes office at the state level. State attorney generals, of course, could look into Hunter Biden and his activities in their states to determine whether or not Hunter Biden violated any laws with respect to their independent states. Whether or not they be sleeping with children, crimes against people, or that type of thing, in violation of course, state tax law would be another one. And so Hunter Biden is not free and safe from any and all potential future prosecutions. The second thing I want to talk about is huge and fundamental, because in the law, it's very difficult. If you're a company and you engage in a contract with somebody, that has some mental infirmities, some mental weaknesses, then that contract can be voided, right? And so why wouldn't the same rules apply with respect to Joe Biden? Now, it becomes more and more clear every day that Joe Biden's, I will say, puppet masters, those people propping him up and telling him to sign his name on certain documents and acts of the United States federal government, as we see this executive branch of government working overtime to try to protect itself from a Trump administration. In the Social Security arena, President Biden, whatever you want to call him, Joe Biden or President Biden, whatever, signed something into effect saying that Social Security workers can continue to work from home for the next 4 years, right? Keep them out of the reach of Donald Trump and the Trump administration. They're trying to impose all sorts of new rules to protect this executive branch of government that grew and ballooned into this huge, albatross around the neck of the American people. Under the Chevron doctrine, as we allowed experts then to dictate the governance of the United States of America. And so basically what's taking place, it's very clear that Joe Biden has mental health issues, that he has had mental health issues for a very long period of time, which is why they hid him in the basement during the 2020 election. And so this calls into question, folks, everything that Joe Biden signed while he was president of the United States of America. If Joe Biden did not have and does not today have the mental faculties to fully understand and appreciate what he is signing and what he is doing purportedly on behalf of the American people, is it legal? Does it have legal effect? And those are some questions that we need to start asking, namely our United States Supreme Court. And that applies directly to the pardon of Hunter Biden. Because Joe Biden might sign something, but if he, as president of the United States of America, did not understand what he was signing, has no clue as to what's actually going on, and the First Lady made him sign this document, the First Lady does not have this power to pardon. It's exclusively held by the President of the United States of America. And so that's the individual that has to have the proper mental faculties in order to be able to pass these kind of acts. And so I would say the entire 4 years of the Biden administration are called into question, as now the media even has a hard time hiding Joe Biden's complete mental deterioration. He's gone. And so we need to start going back and looking at what Joe Biden has done, who had him do it and why, and start looking at why these people have been propping Joe Biden up for so long while they were governing in his name. And then we need to start challenging all of these acts that Joe Biden has put into law on the basis that Joe Biden does not have the mental acumen to understand what he was doing, and therefore what he did as president of the United States was basically unconstitutional. And so there's a reason they have not removed Joe Biden from the office of the presidency, knowing he has these mental deficiencies. And that is because that would be a public admission that Joe Biden's mental state has been debilitated beyond his ability to effectively govern. And that would mean that everything was in the hands of Kamala Harris, who might not do all the stuff they want her to do. And so that's a huge problem, so folks, we need to overcome. And that's why Republicans need to ensure, especially Republicans in Congress, that they do everything in their power to document and get at all of Joe Biden's medical health records, including his mental health records, so that we can make a case moving forward that the Joe Biden presidency in its entirety was unconstitutional. And with that, I say peace.